Okay, let's continue. So, well, this is my solution, and well, I got the longitude and latitude for Pyongyang and Pyongyang, which is I'm using the PY here, and also the New York. And after that, I'm doing a line from Pyongyang to New York. And then, well, I kind of apply the same trick, but now I'm aligning the New York to the left side and then the Pyongyang to the right side so that I got those two labels in place. Okay, so well, I think this one should be a small piece of cake for you guys. And okay, you have done that, right? Okay, and let's see the next part. So for the next part, we are trying to do a Lambert conformal projection, and then we are trying to use this one to show the continent of the North America. Well, the major portion of North America, I should say. And then, well, I'm specifying the central longitude and the latitude, and I'm also specifying the range of the longitude and the latitude. Okay, and then I say, okay, I want to see the coastal line, and I also want to see the grids, and then I want to do a show. Okay, and this is what I get. So, well, then this will be a challenge for you guys. Well, you do have to do this part because later we are going to extend this version of the code. So go ahead and pause the video and then find the longitude and latitude for the geographic center of the United States, and then set it at the center, and then adjust the longitude and the latitude, and then you only display the main body of the land of the United States. Okay, so go ahead and pause the video, and then after you finish, and we are going to come back and I'm going to show you my solution. Okay, so go ahead and pause your video. Okay, so let's see. This is my solution. So I found the geographic center of the continent of the United States, and then I adjusted the range of the longitude and latitude. So well, I got this map. Okay, so and then let's move on. Well, and in Catopy, there are a couple of the features we are able to use. Well, just now we know we are able to use the coastal line, right? But there are other things. And for example, the borders. And the borders mean the country borders. And well, in addition, we have the state borders. But let me warn you this. For the state borders, we have that to some countries, but not all the countries. Okay, and then we have the coastal line, the lakes, the land, the ocean, the river, etc. Okay, so let's see the next example. So the next example, we are showing the continent of the South America, and as you can see, we are using a grid line, and then we are adding the borders of the countries. Okay, and let's see how can we do that. So we want to do this import. So I'm importing the natural earth feature, the land, the coastline, and the border. And well, I'm also going to use the longitude and the latitude formatter. Okay, and then I want to do the stock image, and this will give me the blue ocean and the color of the land. Well, usually I would argue this is not that necessary. So even I take off the stock image, and then well, usually people can still see the borders well enough. So I don't think the stock image give us too much, especially if you want to zoom in and see a smaller area instead of the whole Earth. Okay, I'm adding the feature of the land and the coastal line, and also the borders between the countries. And after that, I'm using the grid line, and here I'm disabling the X label on the top. I'm also disabling the Y label on the right side. Otherwise, when we are displaying a map, and then for the X label, it will be both on the bottom and on the top. And then for the Y label, it will be on both sides of the left and right. And this plot or this map is not big enough, so I don't think it's necessary for us to show the X and Y labels on all the sides. Okay, so that's the reason I'm doing those two disables. And after that, I'm applying the formatter of the longitude and the latitude, so you're going to see 10 degree N and then the 10 degree S like that, instead of the positive and the negative values. Okay, so after doing this version, and now I want to try to do a little bit more. I want to add the state borders. Okay, and then this is how I can add the state borders. And after that, I want to add a new feature of the state border. Okay, so well, this is the end of this example, but there's something I did wrong. Do you know what is it? Okay, if you compare this part and this part, what do you see? So this is the country, this is Bolivia. Okay, and then you see this part, the state border, state border overlaps on the country border. And since we add the state border later, after we have already done the country border, what's the problem? Well, you see for this line, well, this is kind of a grayish line. That's the problem. If that line is a gray line, what is that? That is a state border. So you are saying the line between Bolivia and Brazil is actually a state border. And that's wrong. Okay, so how do you fix that? You want to do the state border first before you do this part, the country borders. Okay, so this is the part you want to pay attention to when you're doing the next part, next exercise. So the next exercise will be like this. So create a map of the US continent and show the borderline and show the state border, and then do not do the stock image because, well, I'm not a big fan of that. And then do not add the grid lines because this makes the plot the map harder to read. And then draw the state boundary first, and then the border between the countries, and eventually apply the longitude and the latitude and longitude format. So go ahead and pause your video again, and in 5 seconds I'm about to show you my answer. Okay. Okay, this is my answer. So, well, I'm changing the size of the map to relatively large one, and after that, well, I have to disable the stock image. I'm not a big fan of that. And then, if you're using the land, the border of the land, and then you don't have to use the coastal line because those two lines are theoretically overlap on each other. And even worse, in Catopy, sometimes they are not exactly the same. So my argument is, if you're using the lines for the land, you don't have to use the lines for the coastal line again. Okay, and after that you add the grid line, and then you disable the X labels on the top and the Y labels on the right side, and then you still want to do the formatter, and then, well, you do the state lines, state borders, and you do the country borders. So in this way, you got the state borders first, and then you redraw the border, the country borders over the state border, so you can see the black line are clear enough. Okay, so, well, that's it for today, and for the rest of the Catopy and for the map visualization, I'm gonna continue on tomorrow, Tuesday. So I will see you later. Bye.